Hi, I'm Bob Dixon. Welcome to the Leader's Edge Hot Takes edition of the Five Eagles Insight Podcast. For over 3 decades, I served in the military as an engineer and as a strategist, and I learned a few things about leadership. We know that it goes beyond theory. It's about real-world application. So in this series, sponsored by Five Eagles Leadership, we feature industry leaders and share their leadership journeys with you. My mission's simple. It's to help you become the best leader you can be. Now, if that sounds like something you're interested in, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. If you'd like to be considered as a guest in upcoming episodes, please go to 5eaglesleadership.com/interview and apply today. Now, let's get started.
Welcome to Leader's Edge podcast, and where we meet fantastic leaders in many different industries and who are kicking ass and taking names in their specific space, and we're here to share their stories. So right now, I'm so happy to be introducing Joshua to the audience out there. A great company called Heroic Performance. He's out of Los Angeles, California. Joshua, thank you for being here. Give me the 90-second overview of your company, and please tell the audience. I love that you told me the story before. Tell them how you came up with the name of your company, Heroic Performance.
So the 90-second overview, we are a holistic wellness company here in Los Angeles. We are fully mobile, no brick and mortar. We travel all over LA doing PT, sports performance, wellness, life coaching, nutrition coaching. If it involves your body, we take care of it. And then the fun story kind of about how Heroic Performance, like the name came about, was, realistically, I'm a fanboy at heart, as athletic as I am and my careers that I've had. But realistically, Superman has always been like an idol of mine, a hero of mine. And, I took the H, my last name is Haag. So I was like, okay, how can I combine that? So superhero, heroic performance, right, for your body. And realistically, kind of, our tagline would be the hero of your own story. And I always kind of wanted to find each person's best version of themselves. And as they push towards creating their main focus in their life, they become that superhero in their own life. My job is to help them get there for their friends, their family, their loved ones.
Yeah, perfect. I love it. So what a great mission is to help people unlock their potential.
Yes, sir.
Right. You don't have to get bit by a radioactive spider to have
It would help.
superpowers that you bring to market. Yeah, I don't know. It might, at least in the Marvel universe, it helps. Maybe not in real life, but people have all of this potential. They have superpowers that they just don't exploit or they don't let grow to their potential. And so to be on a mission in your life to help unlock that, I think is an incredibly special calling.
Thank you. Thank you.
So it's not an easy business to be in. So I'm a leadership coach, right? I spent 30 years in the military, and I help coach leaders because I love to see business leaders thrive. Same way I did it when I was coaching and teaching, mentoring leaders in the military. I do that for business leaders now. And I know it's not an easy business to be in to help people see their potential. So let me ask you this, Joshua. What is the biggest struggle that you've got in your industry and in your business?
In my industry and in my business, I think originally almost all trainers, all coaches get into this business and they really are like, I love working out. I love, helping people with fitness and things like that. But then I think once you actually take a step back and if you really learn to identify the constraints or the problems in your business, fitness specifically is marketing and sales. It is not about fitness. It is about acquisition. How can you market? How can you sell? How can you turn? This is actually about branding and strategy. It's not about the supplement, right? So once you can understand that as like your real problem and you divert most of your energy to that constraint, it's like the key unlocks the door and you just start growing by, leaps and bounds.
Some of my coaches are so wanting to focus on the fitness piece. It's not fitness, it's leadership. But it's the same problem set is we want to spend our time, if you look at the Vismal, in operations, because that's the fun stuff.
Yep.
being in the gym with a client, being in their office and walking them through like, hey, here's how you tackle these complex problems. Um, but if you're not focused on that acquisition piece, then you don't have a business.
Correct. And that's where I think
So
most inexperienced or young coaches fail. That's why there's this huge. So I've started to lecture and I like coach the coaches, right? So my team has grown, as I'm starting to do workshops and things like that. That's one of the biggest things when I talk to other gym owners or business owners. That's the biggest thing that we start to harp on. Is like, you're 12 month, maybe 15 months, you start to see this big turnover in trainers because they don't understand that genuinely is the problem in the business. It is going to turn over. You will lose people, and once
yep.
you can accept that, it's a different world.
Yeah. So what was it that made it click for you then?
So realistically, my kind of my journey, I started training in 2013 and struggled. I ended up doing a stint where I went and tried to play professionally for football. I did really well, went out with the Broncos and the Lions. And then as I finished that, I realistically got to a point where when I stepped back, I wanted to give my clients this cultivated service that I was given as an elite athlete. Well,
Yeah.
I stepped back again and was like, but it's not just training. So I started to really hone in on delivering this super high value service to an elite level of client. And then I started to realize, okay, I've got all these like boxes checked, all these great things, but no one knows about us. And my biggest problem, especially not having brick and mortar where I can draw a radius and just walk around and hand out flyers, it's how do you get out? How do you get that word out? The minute I started to think like that, it was like dominoes fell. I found a coach who taught marketing, and then I learned about marketing. I had no idea what marketing was. Now all of a sudden I've got a machine and people on my staff, and it's like it's a whole part of the business that I never even thought about 5 years ago as just a guy who can fix someone's ankle, right? So
Yeah.
it's cool to see the evolution. I think that is it was
Yeah.
kind of
So so you said something really important to both your business and mine, right? Is you realize that you had a problem that you didn't have that superpower that aligned with. Like, I don't know how to do marketing. You know why? Because I'm not a marketer. I'm not wired for that. And then you went and found a coach. Just like I am not wired to go work out every day and eat right and sleep right and work on my wellness. So I have a personal coach.
yep,
I have somebody who looks just like you. Maybe he's taller. I don't know. But Ryan's my personal coach, and he
yep,
takes care of me and makes sure. And if I believe in coaching as I do, as a leadership coach, and you believe in coaching as a fitness coach, that that there's going to be a marketing coach out there.
yep,
There's a
yep,
coach for every weakness that we've got.
yep.
And if we're not open to learning that, I mean, look, there's lots of skills that we learn that we don't even bat an eye. Yeah, I need a football coach. Yeah, I'm not going to learn how to play football on my
Right.
own. Yeah, yeah, I need a teacher to teach me how to code, right? But when it comes to other things in our lives like fitness and
Yep.
leadership and marketing, there's often this sense that no, I'll figure it out on my own.
It's never, well, you could. However,
Yeah.
you can skip light years of mistakes. You can supercharge your progress forward by
Yeah.
taking on someone like that to help you. Just be like, don't do that. It's never going to work. Do this. And then what's even more fascinating is I've now through this evolution, I've gotten to a point where I'm like, I know marketing. I can do it. I write the campaigns. I'm doing the copy, all that stuff. And then I sat back and was like, but I'm still only ever 80% there. Well, why don't I now go hire somebody to fill that piece? Then I can just
Yeah.
guide them. Now that's what they love to do. They love to market. They can devote all of their day's energy to it. Where I'm doing the team thing and I'm running my clients and I'm fixing problems and I'm doing sales. Now all of a sudden I've got a puzzle piece to fit right in. So it was really cool to see this evolution kind of occur. Um, yeah,
So you took a step that a lot of people haven't, right? And it's the figuring out that if I'm spending time learning a new skill that's really not in my swing space, it shouldn't be how do I do this? It's who should be doing this.
correct.
It's that who, not how mentality that helps you grow.
Yep,
And
100%.
when I talk to business leaders about why are you doing that? Well, I'm the best person for doing that. Yeah, okay. But then you're not thinking strategically. You're not growing your business. You're not
Correct.
focused on those things that are going to make you successful because you're
Correct.
busy doing individual contributor things that you could outsource or delegate?
100%. It's
That's
just been
great. I love that you got that.
figured out. Yeah.
That's awesome. Let me switch gears for you. Tell me about your ideal client. Who are you looking for?
So realistically, myself personally or the company as a whole?
Oh, tell me both.
So over time, I have been blessed, however you want to word it. I have a very, very intense knowledge and love for anatomy, physiology. I now see a specialized clientele here in LA, usually people from, forward thinking medicine where they've done injections, they've done different repairs. And you'll see me when surgery or PT hasn't worked. And personally, I'm getting you back to go golfing, or you can't bend over to pick up your son and you're 45 with multiple disc herniations. Well, how do you fix that? Then you come see me. Um, as for the team, our general population is 35 to 50, 55, right? Male or female, because I've got 8 trainers, 2 interns. So we have basically trainers for different niches. I have youth performance, I have actual sports performance for adults, colleges, things like that. But usually 35 to 55-year-old men or women, and then depending on your choice of coach. Transformations like weight loss, weight gain is a part of it, but I would naturally say we're leaning, as evolution has happened, more towards this lifestyle shift, like a wellness solution, that then there's some form of pain underlying as well, that they've got bad knees, they've got this thing with their back or that shoulder, that then it's kind of a return to play mindset. So my job is to heal you and get you back, right? So PT's involved, body work's involved, all of it. Does that make sense?
It does, absolutely. So when we're reaching out, like the purpose of this podcast is to connect dots, right? It's to
Yep.
connect other people and other
Yep.
businesses with the products and services that you offer, and you'll be receiving things from products and services that
Cool.
other guests come in. Um, there's a lot of busy leaders out there that
Yep.
don't take good care of themselves,
Yep.
and I've been one of them. Right. And I came out of the military. I was pretty fit when I left the military. And then I went, oh, I don't have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and go do PT with 500 of
Yep.
my closest friends. So, I said, I can eat whatever I want. I don't have to do all this running.
How
And,
easily it slips.
oh my goodness. Yeah. So somebody sends me a picture. It's like, hey, was this you on the beach? And I'm like, yeah, who's the beached whale? Or that was me. So I let life get in my way. Right. I
Yep.
said I was too busy to sleep enough. I was
Yep.
too busy to eat right. I was
Yep.
too busy to work out consistently. I was too busy to get 15,000 steps a day, which is what it takes for me at my age to keep the weight that I want,
Good.
right, and the body comp that I want. It took me a minute to get to that number, right?
To learn
But
it.
yeah, and then to realize that your life is not an excuse for not being well,
Mm-hmm.
right?
You could
And
you
you can
could
have
tell you've had a fitness coach of some sort, because these are the things that you say to people when they're coming to you like,
yeah.
my life's gone to shambles. What do I do? Yeah.
Yeah, you got to own it. And then the first time I'm like, hey, listen, I got a lot of trips coming up. I don't know how I can get all these gym works out. He goes, hey, let me show you this guy. This guy lost 65 pounds last year and he traveled 120 days out of the year.
Oh my God.
He's like, yeah, you can have results or excuses. That's your choice. And he would not accept excuses, even though he was on the road. Like, okay, there's a hotel gym. I can bring these bands. I could do whatever it takes to stay within my
The,
macros, get a workout in, and get my steps in.
the hard part is
Um,
finding that mentality. A lot of people are not willing
that's
to go
it.
through the pain.
Yep,
It's
absolutely.
hard.
Now, the pain that you're experiencing for being out of shape,
It's much
that has
worse.
to be greater. It's got to be,
Much worse.
and yeah. So I love what you do.
Thank
Let
you.
me ask you this: where do you see the
So I actually, I've always learned from mentors, coaches such as yourself and whatnot. So I had the privilege of taking somebody to lunch the other day. Very, very phenomenal coach. And I asked him the same question because I need to think about it. Realistically, it's, 50 to 55-year-olds are turning to 65, 70-year-olds, and you're seeing this huge shift where the money is kind of moving. You also see this younger generation, the 20, 25, 30, as they move into 30, 35, 40, where they start to have money. There's this like ADD fitness that happens. So it's something where it's like 6 weeks of Pilates, and then I'm doing boxing for 3 weeks, and then 2 weeks of kickboxing, and then I'm over there doing like, because they just want like the pleasure of working out, not actually focusing on anything. But realistically, to any coaches who may see this, I definitely think your learn PT, learn how to take away someone's pain, and think about looking 50 to 55 and then up, understanding that that older age range, that's where the money's going to be, and that's also where a big part of the population is going to move to. So, yeah.
Yeah, when you ask the question about, when you're 45 years old and you can't pick up your child, right, or your
Yep.
grandchild, I feel that when I'm 70, I want to be able to play with grandkids.
Yep.
And I have been around people who are super fit in their 70s, and my father, he's in his late 70s,
Yeah.
and you can't slow this guy down. And I'm like, man,
That's amazing.
it's what a great example. And so it takes that constant vigilance. I think you're right that's where the industry is going, and that smart coaches are going to start going,
Yep.
okay, how do I specialize in that? Because I've got to be safer about how they work out, right?
I want to two-part it. I think there has been more exposure into the overall medical field over the last couple of years, goods and bads. With that being said, there's this kind of like gray area now where people don't necessarily always want to be going to the doctor, but at the same, or it's a pain in the ass to get there, or they can't get booked, or they can't this, they can't that. And also, like, PTs are overbooked, at least in LA. PTs are overbooked, or they're not offering a full solution. That there's this gray area where people want someone to take charge of their life, like you talked about before. So I also think in that 55, 60, 65, if you can create some sort of knowledge basis that you're checking off a lot of boxes, someone will look to you to basically control a good chunk of their life. I think that's another side to this as well.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think people want some full service. They want to
Mm-hmm.
look, if you guide me correctly and I'm seeing the results of it, yeah,
Yep.
I'm going to cede over some decisions to you. And if I don't have to spend time researching, what's right for me, if you're going to be able to figure it out and then teach me,
Yep.
it saves me a ton of time. So I
Yep.
do want to outsource that, which is again why I have a coach. Right.
Exactly. You see, you're already ahead of the game.
So yeah, well, it took me a minute to figure it out, right? Because hey, look,
Yep.
I knew how to work out, and I told my coach, I said, look, I know how to work out. I know how to lose weight. What I don't know how to do is to have the right mindset to do that consistently and keep it off.
And
And I need you
healthily
to do that.
and not hurting yourself.
Oh, you mean I shouldn't fast for like a month just to lose 10 pounds? Oh.
How those knees doing, Mr. Military Man?
They're much better now that I'm 40 pounds lighter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Good.
so it's lucky. My coach is also a retired military officer, so
Oh, so
he
you
and I were
get
in the
it.
same. And so he's like, okay, yeah, a lot of rucking in your past. So, and then when I lost 40 pounds, he goes, you're not expending as much energy on your walks as you used to. He's like, you're not carrying around a 40-pound ruck called your gut. And I'm like, oh, that's a good
Never
point.
thought of it that way.
Yeah. So now I have a
That's
weight
awesome.
vest. So
Good
when I
on
don't
you.
have time to go for a long walk, I go for a short walk, but I want to increase that intensity. So, but that's the kind of things that coaches can do for you.
Yep.
Right. That's what a fitness coach can do for you. And they can point out things like, as a leadership coach, I can point out things that you may not see about what you're doing to lead your tribe, right? When you're
Right.
leading your company, and having that honest broker in your life that's going to say, hey, Joshua, do you realize that when you say this to your troops that they're like resenting it?
Right.
You know, and to have that person giving you the feedback, just like what you give your feedback to your folks. I think we're in a kind of a heart centric giving kind
Majorly.
of profession, right?
Majorly.
So most of us learned a lot, and it's how we got to where we're at. But most of the lessons we learned were probably not from our successes. Leaders don't like to talk about their failures a whole lot, but most of us will admit that we've learned more from screwing something up than from our successes. So I'm gonna put you on the spot, Joshua. You want to share something that didn't go exactly well for you, but that you learned some valuable lessons from?
Specifically with this business or overall?
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
A short-term example is I did a performance. I did a preferred like sponsorship. So basically like a flagship sponsorship for a series of 5Ks here in LA. And it was one of those things where I completely missed the demographic and kind of the niche that would be at these 5Ks for what my company does. We've had outstanding events. I'm on stage with the mic. Like, it's a whole thing. It's so much fun. The team has had fun. There's so many benefits to it. Don't get me wrong. However, I looked at it from a marketing point of view, and realistically, I learned a very expensive lesson. And I think it's technically in terms of ROI for marketing, it was a complete failure. However, I think it's a mindset shift that I've recently had, that there is no such thing as a failure in business. It's just an expensive lesson.
Yes.
Like, all you've done is just learn another lesson. Now, this is where a coach comes into play, that because my coach could have gone, you shouldn't do that. He didn't. But that's the failure that I had. And then I think lifestyle wise, like life wise, when I was 24, I went Division III when I was 24, and thought I was done playing football, and basically tried to make it afterwards on my own. And I think that would be, technically I failed miserably. I did not make it. I got close, but in turn, I shadowed and learned from incredible of my opportunity, and I'm able to do what I am now because of the failures beforehand. So it's one of those things that, like, is it really a failure? Is anything really quote unquote a failure? At this point, I've done some work mentally on myself in terms of, like, way. It's
Yeah.
growth, movement forward.
I love it. I
Um,
love it. What I tell people is, like, look, it doesn't matter how it turns out so much. We either win or we learn, and learning
yep,
is winning.
yep,
So, and
one hundred
and
percent.
and if you have that mentality, then that negative self-talk doesn't come to the forefront. You're like, oh, you're so stupid. Why did that happen?
Yep,
Like, no, I just learned something,
yep,
and that's
100%.
incredibly valuable. And then as leaders, if you can bring that to the learning moment for when one of your team members lets you down, like, okay, we didn't win that one. What did we learn?
Yep,
Right? Because if
100%.
you just lost a $10,000 deal, I just spent $10,000 educating you, right? So you better have learned something. Let's talk about it and figure
Let's
out what
not let it
that
happen
is.
again.
No, we can't do it twice, right? Like,
That's
I
funny.
will underwrite honest mistakes, but I can't underwrite values mistakes, and don't repeat them, right?
Yep, 100%.
The other thing that you were starting to allude to there is that if you want to go fast, go by yourself. But if you want to go far, bring a pack,
Yep,
right? Get the
grow a
help
team.
that you need. Yep, absolutely. And the that are around you, that you've cultivated a trust with, who could be really honest with you about, you know you could do this better. Tell me about this beforehand. I could be better. Of things, when you build that trust that everybody can be honest with each other and candid, not just honest, candid, you start to grow a culture where everybody's doing better.
It's actually really funny you brought that up. I just, before this call, had a conversation with someone who's moved into, she's been with me for about 3.5 years. She's moved into my team lead, basically. And she had a call with me as I'm coming to sit down, and she basically was voicing a correction and a decision that I had made. And I got not mad at her, but frustrated, because I've been trying to do a lot of things for the team. And it didn't rub me the right way. But she had the courage to tell me that it wasn't sitting right. Here's what we should do. And I was like, okay, what are our solutions? And we made a plan moving forward. And then I texted her right before I sat down with you, and I was like, I'm so proud of the fact that you said something to me. I may not like what you say. I don't have to like what you say, but we made a path moving forward. That is a leader. And, like, so in seeing her grow, it made me really excited for her, and kind of show me that, like, I'm on the right path, because she felt she could talk to me. And then I made sure I
Yes.
reinforced that. Like, yes, I may have gotten frustrated on the phone, but then the text messages after of, like, I'm so proud of you. Thank you. Like, brilliant. I just need to do better at staying a little bit more reserved, a little calmer. Like, I didn't yell at anybody, but it's the overarching theme of, she did really well, and it was cool. Like, it nail in the head of what you just said.
That's awesome. And I think the more we do that as leaders, the more we learn to do it
Mm-hmm.
right, to do it better, and to take that big breath before we raise our voice
Yep.
and,
Yep.
and bite into somebody. And I love to talk to my leaders about, how do you make decisions that are unemotional and in the best interest of the organization? Because most times we're faced to make a decision, the emotion is the first thing that comes up.
So hard.
So
So hard.
hard. But it's the way you go about having the process of decision takes that emotion. At least it acknowledges it, but then doesn't succumb to it. So
Yes, sir.
that's what you. This is great. Let me ask one last question. What is the best way for people to contact you?
Realistically, our website is always great. There's also I made cookbooks. I was a chef at one point, so there's cookbooks. There's all sorts of stuff out there. If anyone wants to get some free information, some free resources, our number's up there as well. You can also email me at josh@heroicperformance.net or follow heroic_performance on Instagram. All of them come directly to me.
All right, I'm signing up for that on Instagram. I'm not very good at Instagram, but I'm learning.
Yeah,
Right? So
good.
awesome. Hey, thanks so much. Today's guest was Joshua Haag from Heroic Performance out in Los Angeles, California. If you've got some fitness needs and you want some overall wellness coaching, give Joshua a call.
Thank you, Bob. Looking forward to it. Hope to hear from you all soon.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to the Leader's Edge Hot Take Series. I hope you found today's insight meaningful, valuable, and that you're ready to put them into action. Now, if you enjoyed the episode and want to keep improving your leaderships, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes. I post new content every week, packed with strategies, tips, and real-life examples to help you lead with impact. Now remember, great leadership isn't just about guiding others, it's about continuously growing yourself. If you'd like to be considered as a guest for upcoming episodes, please go to 5eaglesleadership.com/interview to apply today. Keep pushing, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next episode. Be awesome.